Across the cosmos, countless stories circulated, yet none proved stranger than the mystery of the Wanderer. This enormous vessel had floated through the void like a phantom for 10,000 years. Every advanced society recognized its name. Every race had attempted to capture it. Not one succeeded. Dr. Alex Carter worked quietly in the research archives of the Interspecies Consortium outpost, studying records that stretched back through the ages. The Zephyrans made first contact with the peculiar craft 3,000 years earlier. These towering azure creatures with oversized heads wielded the most potent mind-reading powers known to exist. Their most gifted psychics approached the vessel feeling certain they could reach any consciousness in creation. The vessel had different ideas. When Zephyran ships moved within 1,000 meters of the Wanderer, they struck something unseen. Not a physical blockade, but something that pressed against their thoughts. The mind readers explained it as a soft yet definite refusal, similar to how a guardian tells a youngster no. The vessel communicated wordlessly that visitors weren't permitted. When the Zephyrans attempted to push through by force, the enormous craft simply drifted away. It sailed through the darkness without any visible propulsion and disappeared into faster-than-light travel. The Kraxan Empire made their attempt afterward. These gray-skinned fighters took pride in their superior machinery. They constructed devices capable of slicing through any substance discovered so far. Their battle cruisers held armaments that could shatter worlds. Certainly they could penetrate one old vessel. The Kraxans deployed their complete third armada to encircle the Wanderer when it emerged in their space. The outcome proved humiliating. Every slicing ray they discharged simply ceased functioning upon contact with the vessel's exterior. Their strongest armaments shut down on their own. The boarding craft they sent rebounded from the surface like children's playthings. The vessel's outer layer displayed zero harm, not a single mark. Following 3 days of unsuccessful efforts, the Wanderer peacefully departed, leaving the Kraxan armada drifting powerless with inactive engines. Alex examined hundreds of comparable accounts. The crystalline Vorak attempted contact through sonic patterns. Their whole race vibrated at pitches that could demolish peaks. The vessel absorbed every frequency without reacting. The energy creatures named Luxari tried to shift through the exterior. These entities could travel through dense material as though it were nothing. The vessel's barriers stayed solid against them. The aggressive Gamorans unleashed complete assaults with atomic explosives. The detonations formed spectacular light displays surrounding the vessel, yet produced zero destruction. The gentle Alarians dispatched their most skilled negotiators, bearing offerings of creativity and melody. The vessel disregarded them entirely. The insect-like hive minds attempted to surround it with countless tiny vessels. The vessel generated some type of barrier that caused all their craft to reverse direction and return home. Every effort concluded identically. Courteous yet total dismissal followed by the vessel's puzzling exit. No race could enter it. No machinery could pierce it. No message could connect with whatever intelligence operated it. The Wanderer earned its title by perpetually traveling through the cosmos, never remaining in one sector for extended periods. Dr. Lisa Monroe entered the archives holding 2 beverages. She served as Alex's research colleague and best friend. Lisa possessed flowing crimson locks and emerald eyes that constantly reflected worry when she observed him lately. Still examining information about the phantom vessel, she remarked, settling beside him, "You've devoted months to this, Alex. Perhaps it's time to acknowledge this leads nowhere." Alex accepted the beverage thankfully. He'd been laboring 16-hour shifts attempting to discover some detail everyone else overlooked. His dark hair appeared disheveled and his garments creased from resting in the seat. "Something must exist," he stated, massaging his exhausted eyes. "Examine these dates, Lisa. The vessel doesn't materialize randomly. A sequence exists." Lisa leaned toward his documentation. Alex had charted every documented appearance of the Wanderer throughout cosmic history. Crimson markers indicated each sighting scattered across stellar maps of the cosmos. "I observe no sequence," Lisa commented. "It appears random to me." "That's my initial conclusion," Alex replied with enthusiasm. "But examine more carefully. The vessel visits systems in a particular sequence. It's not random whatsoever. It's hunting for something." Lisa examined the charts with greater attention. Alex had sketched lines linking the appearances in time-based order. The sequence proved subtle, yet it existed. The vessel traveled through the void in extended, sweeping curves that progressively spiraled toward the outer rim of the galaxy. "It's traveling toward human territory," Lisa breathed. "Precisely," Alex stated, rising swiftly. "Every appearance during the past millennium has drawn nearer to Earth and our settlements. It's been heading toward us for centuries." Lisa's expression darkened. "That makes no sense, Alex. The vessel existed before human space exploration by millennia. How could it possess knowledge of us?" Alex retrieved another file on his device. "I discovered something additional. Deep within the consortium records, references to the vessel exist in documents older than any recognized society. Some of these texts suggest the Wanderer isn't merely ancient. It might be searching for whoever created it." "You believe whoever constructed it remains alive?" Lisa questioned. "I believe whoever constructed it programmed it to search for something particular," Alex answered. "And I believe that something is humankind." Lisa shook her head negatively. "Alex, that sounds insane. Humans have only traveled space for 300 years. We're basically infants compared to other races. What would an ancient vessel desire from us?" Before Alex could respond, his device signaled with an urgent notification. He reviewed it rapidly, and his complexion turned pale. "What's wrong?" Lisa questioned. "Long-distance sensors have located the Wanderer," Alex stated quietly. "It's arrived in the Kepler system. That's merely 2 jumps from Earth." Lisa stood quickly. "We must inform the consortium right away." "Already completed," Alex stated, collecting his research materials. "But I'm requesting authorization to examine it personally. Captain Jake Sullivan is indebted to me from the Andromeda expedition. His vessel, the Endeavor, is the swiftest research ship in the fleet." "Alex, absolutely not," Lisa stated, grasping his arm. "You can't be genuine. Hundreds of expeditions have attempted to examine that vessel. They all failed. Some never returned whatsoever." Alex regarded his friend with resolve in his gaze. "Lisa, this might be our sole opportunity. The vessel has never remained in human territory before. If it's truly hunting for something, and that something is us, then perhaps this occasion will differ." Lisa exhaled, knowing she couldn't alter his mind when he became like this. "If you're departing, then I'm accompanying you." "Lisa, you don't need to." "Yes, I must," she declared firmly. "Someone must prevent you from doing anything excessively foolish." Alex smiled genuinely for the first occasion in weeks. "Captain Sullivan is gathering a complete research team. We'll have specialists from every major race aboard. If the vessel truly seeks humanity, then we must be prepared for whatever we might discover." 2 days afterward, Alex stood on the command deck of the Endeavor, observing the stars blur past as they jumped through faster-than-light travel. Captain Sullivan was a towering man with silver hair and compassionate eyes. He had led research vessels for 2 decades and had never lost a crew member. "We'll arrive at the Kepler system in 6 hours, Sullivan announced to the bridge personnel. "All sections, confirm readiness." Alex felt his pulse accelerating with enthusiasm and dread. Somewhere ahead of them waited the most puzzling object in the cosmos, a vessel that had dismissed every alien race for 10,000 years. In a few hours, they would discover if humanity would prove different. The Wanderer awaited them. The Endeavor emerged from faster-than-light travel at the Kepler system's boundary, and everyone on the command deck grew silent. There in the distance hovered the Wanderer, and it proved more magnificent than any recording could convey. The vessel extended nearly 3 kilometers from front to rear with an exterior that seemed to transition between hues that possessed no titles. Silver transformed into gold, then shifted to rich purple before becoming brilliant white again. The surface appeared smooth as polished glass, yet designs moved underneath it like living organisms. Captain Sullivan commanded the vessel to maintain distance 10,000 kilometers away. "Sensor readings," he called to his personnel. "The vessel displays no energy patterns," stated Lieutenant Parker from the science console. "No propulsion, no armaments, no power sources that we can identify, yet it's maintaining flawless position in the void." Alex stood beside the captain, gazing at the alien vessel through the primary viewing display. Up close, it appeared even more impossible than the stories described. No visible propulsion yet. It remained in the void as steady as stone. No apparent armaments yet. Every race in the cosmos feared it. Dr. Lisa Monroe operated her analyzer over the data. "The exterior material matches nothing in our records," she reported. "It's not metal or ceramic or any combination. We recognize the surface temperature equals exactly background space radiation. Life forms requested. Captain Sullivan. None that we can identify, answered Dr. Sektar from his station at another panel. The tall reptilian scientist possessed yellow scales and large golden eyes, but our instruments may lack sufficient sensitivity to penetrate that exterior. Professor Hinnell clicked his mandibles anxiously. The insect-like being was among the cosmos's foremost authorities on ancient machinery. His 6 limbs operated multiple control stations simultaneously. The vessel's construction predates any recognized society, he buzzed through his translator. The design concepts are entirely foreign to us. Communications Officer Jenny Walsh attempted every frequency and procedure in the manual. She was a young woman with short blonde locks and steady hands. No reaction to any standard first contact. Transmissions, she announced. The vessel appears to be disregarding us entirely. Alex felt his spirits sinking. Perhaps this would prove just like all the previous encounters. The vessel would dismiss them and depart, leaving more mysteries than solutions. He had risked his profession and his friendship with Lisa on the hope that humanity would prove different somehow. Then something shifted. Alex stepped toward the command area, and every display on the Endeavor's bridge suddenly showed the identical image. It was a flawless blueprint of the Wanderer displaying every detail of its exterior. One area near the vessel's center was illuminated in gentle blue radiance. It was unmistakably a docking area. What did you do? Captain Sullivan questioned, turning toward Alex. Nothing, Alex answered, gazing at the displays in wonder. I just moved nearer to the front. Dr. Sektar performed more analyses. The illuminated area appears to be some type of landing bay, he reported, large enough for one of our shuttles. It's an invitation, whispered Lisa. The vessel is inviting us inside. Professor Hyvenel's wings hummed with enthusiasm. In 10,000 years of documented history, the Wanderer has never opened its entrances to anyone. This is unheard of. Captain Sullivan weighed their choices. Standard first contact guidelines required extreme caution when dealing with unknown alien machinery. Yet this was obviously not a standard circumstance. I'll pilot a shuttle across, volunteered Dr. Sektar. My people possess the most experience with ancient alien relics. Negative, stated Professor Hinnell. My research into pre-galactic societies makes me the rational choice. With respect to both of you, interrupted Jenny Walsh. I'm the communications officer. If the vessel desires to communicate, I should be the one to depart. Alex observed his colleagues debating over who should make first contact. These were some of the cosmos's finest scientists, and they all desired the honor of being first inside the legendary vessel. Yet something told him the selection was not theirs to determine. I believe the vessel has already chosen who it desires, Alex stated quietly. Captain Sullivan raised an eyebrow. What causes you to say that? The displays only shifted when I stepped toward the front, Alex explained. Perhaps it's not inviting all of us. Perhaps it's inviting me particularly. Lisa grabbed his arm. Alex, that's excessively dangerous. We don't know anything about that vessel or what exists inside it. We'll never know unless someone boards it, Alex answered. And I believe I'm the one it's summoning. Captain Sullivan studied the young scientist. Alex was courageous, yet not reckless. He possessed good instincts and years of experience with alien machinery. Are you certain about this, Carter? Alex gazed at the magnificent alien vessel hovering in the void. Every instinct told him this was his moment, his opportunity to solve the greatest mystery in cosmic history. I'm certain. 20 minutes afterward, Alex sat in the pilot position of Shuttlecraft Beta, preparing for departure. He wore a complete environmental suit and carried sufficient supplies for 48 hours. The shuttle's small cargo area was filled with recording equipment and analysis instruments. Remember to maintain constant contact, Captain Sullivan's voice transmitted through the communication system. If anything goes wrong, we'll extract you immediately. Understood, Alex answered as he guided the shuttle out of the Endeavor's landing bay. The approach toward the Wanderer required 15 minutes, even though the distance was brief. Alex flew slowly and cautiously, monitoring for any indication of hostile action from the alien vessel. Yet the enormous vessel remained completely motionless, waiting for him. As his shuttle moved closer, Alex could observe details that no recording had ever captured. The exterior surface was covered in designs that seemed to shift and flow like liquid. Symbols materialized and vanished in languages that no one had ever witnessed before. The docking area grew larger and larger until it occupied his entire view screen. The instant Alex's shuttle crossed into the landing bay, the massive entrances began to seal behind him. For a few seconds, panic seized his heart. He was confined inside an alien vessel that had eliminated or disappeared countless explorers over the millennia. Yet then, illumination activated, washing the landing bay in warm golden light. The landing bay was enormous and magnificent. The barriers curved gracefully upward to form a dome that sparkled with what resembled stars. The floor was constructed of some material that seemed to radiate from within. Alex had never witnessed anything so spectacular. He landed the shuttle in the center of the area and completed his checklist. The atmosphere outside was breathable for humans. The temperature was ideal. Gravity felt exactly like Earth normal. Everything about this place seemed designed for human ease. Alex opened the shuttle entrance and stepped onto the platform of the most mysterious vessel in the cosmos. The instant his boots contacted the floor, he heard a voice speaking directly inside his consciousness. The words were in flawless English with a tone that was both ancient and kind. "Welcome, young relative," the voice stated. "We have waited so incredibly long for you to discover us." Alex stood motionless in the magnificent landing bay as the voice resonated through his consciousness. The words were clear and warm, like an old companion greeting him following a long voyage. Yet they made zero sense whatsoever. "Who are you?" Alex whispered into the glowing space surrounding him. "I am called Keeper," the voice answered. "I am the protector of this vessel and the memories it holds. I have explored the cosmos for 12,000 years, waiting for your people to develop space exploration and discover me." Alex felt his pulse racing. This was first contact with an intelligence older than any recognized society. He attempted to recall his training for such moments, yet nothing had prepared him for this. "You've been hunting for humans," Alex questioned. "Yet why? We're newcomers to the cosmos. We've only possessed star travel for 300 years. The voice that identified as Keeper seemed to smile, though Alex could observe no physical form. "Come, young one. Let me reveal truths that will transform everything you believe about your race and your place in creation." The landing bay barrier in front of Alex began to glow, and an opening materialized where none had been before. Beyond the entrance stretched a passage that seemed to bend and twist in impossible ways. The barriers pulsed with gentle illumination that moved like flowing liquid. Alex stepped through the entrance and immediately felt strange. The passage was definitely longer than the vessel itself, yet somehow it existed inside the craft. The laws of nature seemed different here, as if space itself could be folded and molded like clay. "Your shuttle is secure," Keeper stated, sensing Alex's worry. "And your companions on the Endeavor are monitoring your vital signs. No danger will reach you here." As Alex walked down the impossible passage, he passed chambers filled with wonders beyond imagination. Through transparent barriers, he observed rooms containing hovering crystals that pulsed with inner illumination, archives that stretched up into darkness holding more information than entire worlds could contain, chambers where holographic star maps displayed the movements of galaxies across millions of years. "This is incredible," Alex breathed as he walked. "Your machinery is beyond anything in the cosmos." "Not my machinery," Keeper corrected gently. "The machinery of the creators. Your ancestors." Alex stopped walking. "My ancestors? That's impossible. Humans evolved on Earth. We possess fossils and genetic records proving our evolutionary history. You did evolve on Earth," Keeper agreed. "Yet Earth was not your first world. It was a refuge, a haven prepared by your people for a future that they knew would arrive." The passage ended at a vast chamber that took Alex's breath away. The room was spherical and enormous with no visible floor or ceiling. Alex found himself standing on a platform that hovered in the center of empty space. All surrounding him, holographic images began to materialize, displaying scenes from across the cosmos. "Behold the truth about humanity," Keeper stated as the images began to shift and change. The hologram displayed star systems that Alex had never witnessed before. Worlds covered with gleaming cities that stretched from pole to pole. Vessels that traveled between stars like dolphins swimming through an ocean. And everywhere there were humans, not primitive humans, yet an advanced society that spanned half the cosmos. The creators ruled peacefully for millions of years, Keeper explained. As the images shifted to display massive space outposts and worlds transformed into gardens, they were explorers and educators. They planted life on countless worlds and guided the development of younger races. Alex watched in amazement as the hologram displayed human scientists working with creatures that resembled the ancestors of every known alien race. The early Zephyrians learning telepathy from human educators. Primitive Kraxans receiving machinery that would eventually make them masters of engineering. The first Vorak being taught to perform the songs that would shape their crystal society. Humans created the other races, Alex whispered. Not created, Keeper corrected. Guided. The potential for intelligence existed in these races naturally. The creators simply helped them develop it faster and more completely than evolution alone would have permitted. The images shifted to display something darker. A great armada of vessels unlike anything Alex had ever witnessed. They were black as empty space and seemed to absorb light itself. Where they passed, stars went dark and worlds crumbled to dust. The Devourers arrived from beyond our cosmos. Keeper's voice grew sorrowful. Beings of pure hunger that consumed entire solar systems. They had destroyed a dozen galaxies before they reached ours. Alex watched the holographic war develop surrounding him. The Creator Armada fought bravely, yet they were outnumbered. For every Devourer vessel they destroyed, 2 more took its place. Slowly yet surely, the alien invaders pushed deeper into Creator territory. The Creators were losing, Alex observed. Yes, Keeper agreed. Despite all their machinery and wisdom, they could not defeat an enemy that consumed stars themselves for power. So they made a selection that saved the cosmos yet destroyed their society. The hologram displayed creator scientists working frantically on some type of massive device. It resembled a combination of machinery and magic, with crystals the size of buildings linked by beams of pure energy. What is it? Alex questioned. A temporal displacement matrix, Keeper explained. A machine that could transport matter backward through time, yet it could only be used once, and the power required would drain every star in creator space. Alex watched as the enormous machine activated. Across the cosmos, creator vessels and space outposts began to glow with brilliant illumination. Then, one by one, they vanished, taking their crews with them. They sent themselves backward through time, Alex realized. 13 million years into the past, Keeper confirmed. Back to when the cosmos was young and empty of intelligent life. Yet the journey transformed them. The temporal field stripped away their machinery, their memories, their society. They arrived in the past as primitive beings scattered across thousands of worlds. The holograms displayed groups of humans materializing on primitive worlds across the cosmos. They appeared confused and lost, like people waking from a long dream. Slowly, they began to construct simple shelters and hunt for food. Their advanced knowledge was gone, yet something essential remained. Earth was the primary destination, Keeper continued. The creators selected it carefully, far from the cosmic center, rich with life, ideal for a race that needed time to develop again. Alex felt his knees go weak as the complete truth struck him. Every human who ever lived is a descendant of this ancient society. Yes, Keeper stated softly. Every artist who created magnificence. Every scientist who reached for the stars. Every explorer who pushed into the unknown. They all carried creator genes and creator dreams even though they never realized it. The chamber surrounding Alex began to transform. The holograms faded and barriers materialized covered with artwork from across human history. Paintings from Earth, sculptures from the Mars settlements, melody that had been composed on distant worlds. All of it was magnificent, and all of it resonated something much older. This is why I waited, Keeper explained. The creators knew their descendants would eventually rediscover space exploration. They left me to observe and wait for that day to evaluate whether humanity was prepared to reclaim their inheritance. Alex gazed around at the gallery of human achievement. Every piece of creativity, every melody, every narrative represented thousands of years of growth and learning. Humanity had rebuilt itself from nothing and reached for the stars once again. What inheritance? Alex questioned, though he suspected he already recognized the answer. The complete archives of Creator Society, Keeper answered. Their machinery, their knowledge, their history, everything they were and everything they learned. It is all here waiting for you. Yet Alex heard something in Keeper's voice, a hesitation that suggested there was more to this narrative. More tests to pass before humanity could claim its legacy. There's something additional, isn't there? Alex stated. Something you haven't revealed yet. Keeper's presence seemed to grow heavier in the chamber surrounding Alex. The magnificent gallery of human creativity faded into darkness, leaving only empty space and the weight of unspoken truths. You are correct, Keeper stated finally. Discovering humanity was only the beginning. I must determine if you are worthy of what your ancestors left behind. Alex felt a chill despite the warm air. What do you mean, worthy? We're their descendants. Doesn't that give us the right to their knowledge? The creators thought so once. Keeper answered sadly. They believed their children would naturally inherit their wisdom along with their genes. They were mistaken. The chamber surrounding Alex began to shift and transform. New images materialized, displaying scenes that made his heart sink. Humans fighting humans in terrible conflicts. Cities burning while people fled in terror. Armaments of unimaginable power being used to destroy entire populations. Every race I tested believed they deserved the creator legacy, Keeper explained as the horrible images continued. The Zephyrians thought their telepathic abilities made them the natural heirs to creator knowledge. The Craxans believed their machinery proved their worthiness. Each race possessed reasons why they should inherit ultimate power. Alex watched scenes of cosmic history develop surrounding him. The Zephyrian Empire using telepathy to control other races. The Craxans' armadas conquering entire star systems. Every major society had used their abilities to dominate others at some point. Yet they all failed your tests, Alex stated. Not failed exactly, Keeper corrected. They simply showed me that they would use creator knowledge the same way they use their own power to control and dominate rather than to help and guide. The dark images faded, and Alex found himself standing in a new chamber. This room resembled a combination of archive and laboratory with barriers covered in books and scientific equipment. Yet everything felt slightly wrong, as if the laws of nature worked differently here. The creators faced the same temptation, Keeper continued. As their power grew, they began to believe they knew what was best for every race in the cosmos. They started making decisions for others without requesting permission. They thought they were helping, yet they were actually taking away the freedom to select. Alex began to comprehend. That's what caused their civil conflict. Some creators wanted to control the cosmos, while others wanted to let races develop naturally. Precisely, Keeper stated. The conflict that destroyed creator society was not against outside invaders. It was between two factions of creators who disagreed about the proper use of ultimate power. The chamber surrounding Alex began to transform again. This time he found himself in what resembled a courtroom. There were no judges or juries, yet Alex could feel that he was being evaluated somehow. Every race that seeks creator knowledge must pass the same tests, Keeper explained, tests that measure not intelligence or strength, yet character and wisdom. Alex felt nervous, yet tried to stay calm. What type of tests? The first test is simple, Keeper stated as the room transformed into a scene from the cosmos. Alex found himself standing on the command deck of a starship, looking out at two worlds. Both worlds were covered with cities and displayed signs of advanced society. You possess the power to save one of these worlds from destruction, Keeper's voice explained. Yet saving one will doom the other. The selection is yours. Alex studied both worlds carefully. The left one was green and magnificent with gleaming cities that resembled works of creativity. The right world was gray and industrial, with massive factories and mining operations covering most of the surface. Tell me about them, Alex stated. The green world is home to the ethereal race, Keeper explained. They are artists and philosophers who spend their lives creating magnificence and seeking truth. They have never waged conflict or harmed another race. Alex nodded, then gazed at the gray world and the other world. The industrial world belongs to the Creator's Keeper, stated. Wait, that's not correct. The mechanoids, they are workers and engineers who construct machines and infrastructure for dozens of races. Without them, entire sectors of the cosmos would collapse into poverty. Alex felt the weight of an impossible selection. Save the magnificent artists or save the practical engineers. Either selection would mean billions of deaths. Yet, as he studied the scenario more carefully, Alex began to notice details that didn't make sense. The green world cities were too flawless. The gray world's factories were too uniform. Everything appeared artificial somehow. This isn't genuine, Alex stated suddenly. These aren't actual worlds. This is a simulation designed to test how I think. The scene surrounding him flickered and transformed. Alex was back in the simple chamber with Keeper's presence surrounding him like warm illumination. Very good, Keeper stated approvingly. The Zephyrians selected to save the artists because they valued magnificence over utility. The Craxans selected the engineers because they respected industrial power. Yet you rejected the premise of the selection itself. Alex felt proud yet also worried. Is that the correct answer? There is no correct answer, Keeper answered. The test measures how you approach problems. Do you accept limitations or do you search for alternatives? The creators always sought third choices when faced with impossible selections. The testing continued for what felt like hours. Alex faced moral dilemmas that possessed no clear solutions. Should you interfere in a primitive race's development to prevent a conflict? How do you balance individual freedom against collective security? When is it correct to use advanced machinery to help less developed societies? Each test revealed something about Alex's character. He consistently searched for creative solutions that protected everyone involved. When forced to select between competing goods, he attempted to find ways to have both. Most importantly, he always considered the long-term consequences of his actions. The final test is different, Keeper stated as the chamber transformed one last time. Now Alex stood in what resembled a communication center with displays showing the Endeavor hovering in the void. Your companions are observing and waiting, Keeper stated. They know you have made contact with this vessel's intelligence. Now I will ask them the most important question of all. Alex watched as Keeper opened communication channels to the research vessel. Captain Sullivan's voice came through the speakers clearly. Dr. Carter, are you secure? The captain questioned. I'm fine, Alex answered. Keeper desires to ask you something. Keeper's voice filled the communication channel, reaching every crew member on the Endeavor. Citizens of many worlds, I am the protector of machinery that could reshape the cosmos, armaments that could destroy star systems, machines that could terraform worlds in days, knowledge that could make any race masters of space and time. If such power existed, who should control it? Alex listened as his colleagues gave their answers. Dr. Sear argued that the most advanced race should guide the use of such machinery. Professor Hyvenel suggested that ancient knowledge belonged to those who had studied it longest. The other alien crew members each believed their own race would be the wisest protectors. Yet then Captain Sullivan spoke with respect to everyone here. I believe that type of power is too dangerous for any one race to control. It should be shared equally with protections to prevent anyone from dominating others. Dr. Lisa Monroe agreed. History displays that absolute power corrupts absolutely. No matter how wise or benevolent a race might be, giving them ultimate power will eventually transform them for the worse. Then Alex surprised everyone, including himself. I believe the machinery should be given freely to all races, he stated. Yet more importantly, we should teach them that true wisdom comes from selecting when not to use power rather than how to use it. The communication channel grew silent. Alex could feel Keeper considering these answers and weighing them against responses given by thousands of other races over the millennia. Interesting, Keeper stated finally. Very interesting indeed. The silence stretched for long moments as Keeper processed the responses from Alex and his crew. The chamber surrounding Alex seemed to pulse with deep thought as the ancient intelligence weighed humanity's answers against 10,000 years of testing. Other races. You have surprised me, Keeper stated finally, yet not in the way you might anticipate. Alex felt his pulse racing. Did we pass your tests? You passed them too well, Keeper answered. And there was something like sorrow in the voice. Your answers revealed a truth I hoped would not be necessary to share. The chamber began to transform surrounding Alex one final time. The barriers became transparent, displaying the vast interior of the Wanderer stretching away in all directions. Yet now, Alex could observe that the vessel was not empty. Hovering in crystal chambers throughout the craft were thousands of beings that resembled almost human, yet somehow more flawless. The creators were not destroyed by conflict with outside invaders, Keeper stated quietly. They were consumed by their own success. Alex gazed at the sleeping figures in their crystal tombs. They're still alive. In a manner of speaking, Keeper confirmed. When the creators reached the peak of their power, they faced a selection. They could continue to grow and expand, until they controlled every aspect of cosmic life. Or they could step backward and permit younger races to discover their own way. The images surrounding Alex displayed the final days of Creator Society. Not a great conflict, yet endless debates in council chambers across the cosmos. Some creators wanted to guide every race toward perfection. Others argued that such control would destroy the very diversity that made life magnificent. The faction that wanted control was winning, Keeper explained. They possessed logical arguments and good intentions. They could eliminate conflict, disease, poverty, and suffering throughout the cosmos. All they needed was absolute authority to make the necessary changes. Alex began to comprehend the horrible truth. Yet that would have turned every other race into pets or slaves. Exactly, Keeper stated. The creators would have created a flawless cosmos where no one except them possessed any real freedom to select their own path. The crystal chambers surrounding Alex began to glow brighter. Inside each one, a creator stirred slightly as if responding to their conversation. These were not corpses, yet sleeping beings waiting for something. So what occurred? Alex questioned, though he dreaded the answer. The wiser creators made a desperate selection. Keeper answered they used the temporal displacement machinery not to send their people backward through time, yet to put themselves to sleep. They released a field that placed every creator in suspended animation. Alex watched as the images displayed the Great Sleep beginning. Across the cosmos, creator cities went dark as their inhabitants lay down in crystal beds and closed their eyes. Entire societies simply stopped moving in a single moment. They selected to remove themselves from history rather than risk becoming tyrants. Alex whispered. Yes, Keeper stated. And they programmed me to wait and observe, to test their descendants when they redeveloped space exploration, to evaluate whether humanity had learned the lessons that the creators forgot. Alex gazed around at the thousands of sleeping figures. The most advanced beings in cosmic history had selected oblivion rather than oppression. They had given up everything to protect the freedom of races they had helped create. Yet we passed your tests, Alex stated, so you can wake them up now, Keepers. Presence seemed to exhale with ancient weariness. That is the final test, young relative, the one I hoped humanity would fail. Alex felt cold comprehension creep through his consciousness. You desire us to select whether to wake them or not. The sleeping creators contain all the knowledge and power their society ever possessed, Keeper explained. If awakened, they would gratefully serve humanity as their rightful heirs. You would inherit not just their machinery, yet their willing obedience. The terrible selection became clear to Alex. Humanity could claim its inheritance and gain willing servants who possessed godlike power. The creators would happily labor to make every human dream come true. There would be no more poverty or disease or death. Humanity would become the rulers of a flawless cosmos. Yet the cost would be the freedom of the most magnificent beings who ever lived. The creators would serve not because they selected to, yet because they were programmed to obey their descendants. They would become slaves to the very people they had sacrificed everything to protect. What did the other races select? Alex questioned. Every one of them selected to wake the Creator's Keeper answered sadly. The Zephyrans desired telepathic servants. The Craxans desired flawless engineers. Even the peaceful races desired helpers who would solve all their problems. None of them comprehended the moral price. Alex closed his eyes and thought about everything he had learned. The creators had been willing to sleep forever rather than dominate others. Could humanity do any less when faced with the same temptation? I need to communicate with my crew, Alex stated. Finally, Keeper opened the communication channel again, and Alex explained the selection to his colleagues. The silence that followed was heavy with the weight of an impossible decision. Dr. Sektar spoke first. The knowledge we could gain would benefit every race in the cosmos, Professor Hanel agreed. Consider the scientific advances, the problems we could solve. Yet Captain Sullivan's voice was firm. Negative. If these beings selected to sleep rather than rule, we possess no right to force them into service. Even willing service, Dr. Lisa Monroe supported him. The creators made their selection to protect freedom. We must respect that selection. Alex felt proud of his human colleagues, yet he also comprehended the alien perspective. The temptation was enormous. Ultimate power offered freely with no apparent cost except to beings who would serve willingly. I've made my decision, Alex announced. The creators will remain asleep. Yet, Alex, Dr. Sector protested, consider what we could accomplish. I am considering it, Alex answered. And that's exactly why they must stay asleep. Because the instant we start using them to solve our problems, we become the same as the creators who wanted to control everyone else. Keeper's presence warmed with something like joy. You comprehend? You truly comprehend. The creators' greatest gift wasn't their machinery, Alex continued. It was their wisdom to recognize when to stop, when to step backward, and let others discover their own way. The crystal chambers surrounding Alex began to fade from view as the vessel's interior returned to normal. Yet Alex could still feel the presence of the sleeping creators all surrounding him. What occurs now? He questioned. Now you inherit something far more valuable than machinery, Keeper answered. You inherit the responsibility to guide without controlling, to help without dominating, to be the educators and protectors the cosmos needs. The chamber transformed one final time into a council room with seats for dozens of beings. Alex could observe that some chairs were designed for humans, while others would fit the various alien races. The Wanderer will no longer drift alone through the void, Keeper announced. It will become a traveling academy carrying crews from every race. Together, you will explore the cosmos, sharing knowledge and fostering cooperation. Alex felt enthusiasm building in his chest. A mobile university led by humanity, yet serving all races equally, Keeper confirmed. Your people have proven they possess the creator trait of adaptive empathy, the ability to comprehend different perspectives while maintaining your own moral core. Over the following days, the Endeavor docked permanently with the Wanderer, and crews from across the cosmos began arriving to join the new academy. Alex became chief curator, working with Keeper to establish programs that would benefit every race. Dr. Lisa Monroe led joint research teams while Captain Sullivan commanded the combined craft. The cosmos watched in amazement as the legendary Phantom vessel that had rejected every alien race transformed into a beacon of hope. Guided by humans who had selected wisdom over power, the Wanderer began its new mission of bringing knowledge and unity to the stars. And in their crystal chambers, the creators slept peacefully, knowing their descendants had learned the most important lesson of all. True greatness comes not from what you can take, yet from what you select to give.